When we first walked this trail some years ago now, we came out up the trail here at the end. I was a bit surprised. The clearing ended up being sort of like a garden, euphoric area. And 2 bridges. This actually was a garden area. They had this bridge. Seems kind of like a fairy tale bridge. Then they had the white bridge. We took this bridge along the river first. Marshall remembered that they put seashells around their places so nobody could sneak up on them. That's what we're walking on. There's different spots around here. Sit and hang out next to the river. We have a lot of different kinds of trees here. And they have a dock on the river. This is the entrance to the dock area. They used to put plays out on the dock before they built their stage building for plays, specifically in entertainment of sorts. You can see it's starting to sprinkle just a little. So we're going to go inside. This is the little village, kind of a ghost town, now preserved as a park. When I first came here, these tall palm trees lined this whole area. You know, there's 2 of them in sight of this little entrance to their town from the river. We noticed that they were broken though and regrowing. For instance, there looks like one right there. So I think they must have got broken in a storm sometime after we was first here. We've been here, I don't know, 3 or 4 times maybe. But they're some of the tallest palm trees around. This is called the Koreshan village. People lived here during the turn of the century, going into the 1900. This was the first place in the area that had electricity. They knew Thomas Edison, and Edison hooked them up with his power plants. The guy that started the whole thing lived here in this house. This is right next to 41 in southwest Florida, just south of Fort Myers. We'll look at this little cottage first. This is a cottage the guy that originally owned 250 plus acres here, that they sold it kind of to the people that moved in and built the village. This is the guy that originally owned this land. Where he lived, right on the river. His little place. It's a little hard to see. He would have lived here in the late 1800s. There I am. So the river out back of his house. Kind of busy highway. And now runs past it. Highway 41. Girls having a good time. In the background is the house. Not a house, but the place where they put on plays. It was their culture center. The people north of here in Fort Myers used to come here. Sort of a high society thing. And at the turn of the century they had electricity from Thomas Edison, and they had costumes and plays that were on a professional level. We'll go inside. This is where they put on plays and productions in the turn of the century, early 1900s. They had some unusual beliefs that they would also promote. They thought we was actually inside the earth. That's what their thinking is here. You look down at the center of the earth is where the stars is. As in many cases, it's the opposite of what the Bible says. What people try to proclaim and believe. Here's Sweetie. They was very cultured though. He was a doctor. And they promoted high society type activities. They built all this stuff. And one of the first places here to have electricity from Thomas Edison. They knew him personally. This place is air conditioned. It's very nice.
Did you get the Steinway piano too?
Yeah, let's get a close up on
It
that.
has 83 keys.
Yeah. And they would have somebody play that, and they'd have productions and musicals, which they still do here. It's great acoustics here, and they have musicals throughout the wintertime, which is Florida season is in the winter more. This was their paradise they was hoping to build at some point. And it's the idea. This is the way that it was going to be landscaped. That was their coat of arms. They had their own flag. This is a village right next to the campground. We enjoy coming here and walking through the place and camping Southwest Florida on occasion. This shows what it was like back in the day, 1905. Not a lot was around it. Mostly horse and buggies. I guess it's all horse and buggies. Some other cast. Some other plays. This is the house where a lot of leadership lived. We get the tour of this house. We toured it earlier today actually, but we got to go upstairs and even to the very top, which is unusual. This is Koreshan village. We're in one of the Koreshan houses. We're on a little tour. So one of the Koreshan slump. Mosquito net.
That's part of the same. Well, that's when people sit on it. That's why they don't let you sit on that body sweater and stuff.
Yeah.
100 years or 100.
Yeah, but it's interesting the way they do it. Why you do it.
Oh, why you would?
This is a meeting room.
Yeah.
Nice staircase. There's a porch. Looking out on the grounds. A door that walks out to the porch. This is an upstairs bedroom. Here's another upstairs bedroom. Sweetie's at her little makeup place with matching shirt and hat and a seat there almost. Another nice view of the compound. And an access door to go out on the porch. This room has a little upstairs foyer. It leads into this room. Another upstairs bedroom. This is the way the walls were built. We're upstairs.
Yeah. And they make it man. It was
On the second floor, we go up to the third floor. Sort of a loft. And then this seems to be the top floor. We can look across part of the property. Interesting staircase. That was the bedroom to the right. Staircase.
I know. It's all done by Koreshan from the 1800s.
I know.
As far as now, how do you like the woman's cover? I mean, you have a woman nowadays going over the closet like
Downstairs. This is the house we toured, where most of the leadership lived. Most of the leadership, except for the main leader, were women. They're recorded here. A little bit about them. This is late 1800s, early 1900s. This is where the leadership lived as far as the governing rulership of the town, except for the main leader lived in his own house over here. And most of the leaders were actually women, which is unusual for the late 1800s and 1900s. This is the house that the founder of the village and settlement lived in.
Edison was a great inventor. He had electricity. He could
This is his living room.
People in Fort Myers were afraid of the electrical situation. They were afraid the cows would be, the chickens would be lay eggs. And they didn't really trust his invention. And the Koreshans were really very excited about it. They were hyped, it's going to make our life easier. Hey, let's do it. And they really were eager. And they said, come on, let's get this out here and see how we can work it into our regular lives, and so they did.
Edison was
That's
heavy
what this
into
looks like.
bringing in different plants, exotic plants to Southwest Florida. Some of the bamboo that we have here today came from Edison's estate in Fort Myers. They gave it to the Koreshans. They did live grading of seeds, cuttings, plants. They had public performances there. They had concerts with their works done. They had plays. They did their own works. They did Shakespeare. Thomas Edison and his wife, Henry Ford and his wife, and Harvey Firestone and his wife were common attendees to these different performances.
In the middle of the compound or town, they had some unusual trees. You can see the bridge over in the distance. That's the white bridge there. There's people getting ready to go across it. And those mounds were gardens. They planted stuff on those. It's sort of a ruins now in some ways, but it's pretty well preserved in other ways. But it's not like it was in its heyday. This was their bakery. We'll take a peek inside. You can hear the dinner bell. And inside the bakery here, have a few things on the tables. Informative signs to the places people live. House, little hallway. This would be the bedroom. That was the living room before.
She said that she believed in it until the guys landed on the moon, and then she realized that
Yeah, there's no
there's no way.
there's outer space is a reality.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of
She
crazy
said it
what some
wasn't
people
until
believe.
till that spot or till that time. She believed up until then.
Yeah, people's heart can really deceive them. Another place people lived. This was actually a religious sect that actually believed that we lived on the inside of the earth and outer space was the center of the earth. Among other things, that they had it all backwards from what the Bible states. And whenever you deviate from the Bible, you do tend to believe some wild fairy tales. This is the industrial section where the sawmill was. Power was generated for electricity. Thomas Edison had helped them with and installed for them, or introduced them to it anyway. This is a sawmill. Everything runs off a variety of belts, and it actually works. I think we had a guy. Didn't we have a guy start this up once for us?
Yeah, start up both of those machines.
Yeah. So it's actually functional still. Big equipment. And across is sort of a garage. House stuff. It kind of looks like this might have been a little cafe of sorts. I think during one of the tours we had some time ago, I think they said Edison liked to work here. He had a little shop here. Let's go in the generator building. That's to the right. It's a little dark, gotta refocus. We've seen them run this before they started it. We've been here a few times, and that's like a big car alternator. What I didn't realize is that Edison, until a few years ago when I was here, Edison actually has a 12-volt electrical system. That's what he was promoting, which they have here. And I believe when we toured the Edison house, they said it was Westinghouse wanted to use a 110 system, which Edison thought was too dangerous. So Edison wanted to put 12-volt generators across the country, run everything on 12 volts. I head back across the White Bridge. See the brown bridge over there. Wooden bridge, both wooden. Big pine tree is called a monkey puzzle tree. It has huge, like acorns, bigger than footballs. This is the front of the river trail. Much cooler in here.